Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's been a very long time coming, but I thought it was about time that I hopped on here and gave you, let's start with a life update. I am 7.5 months pregnant. This is the belly, this is what we're working with right now. So I thought I would go back to the beginning, April 10th, when I found out I was pregnant. And don't get me wrong with this video, I am so excited, I am so happy, and I cannot wait to meet my little one in a matter of weeks. Before I got pregnant, I thought having a baby was going to be the cutest thing ever, and I'm sure it will be, but I thought getting pregnant would be like this. Modeling sexy, cute outfits, little baby bump, everything it seems to be online, but unfortunately for me, that was not the case. I really waited to film this because I didn't even know if I could get through it without crying. But the last 7.5 months have been pretty much torture for me, and the reason I'm filming this for you guys is to, I don't know, maybe help someone, another woman who may be going through some similar symptoms that I've had the last 7.5 months. I know my specific experience is very, very rare. I was diagnosed with something called Hyperemesis gravidarum, the dreaded HG, which affects, I don't know the stat, I'll look it up and put it here. There's many women, so it's pretty rare. Or there's like different forms and stages of it. There are women who've had it a lot worse than me, so I'm grateful that mine wasn't as bad, but it has been pretty horrific. And the only people that have known have been my family members. Other than that, online, I kept trying to work and post and act like everything's been fine, but it wasn't. So I have my phone right here to go back in time so I sort of don't miss anything, but I also want to make it quick because I hate like YouTube videos that drag on and just don't get to the point. So I'm gonna get to the point. This whole thing's gonna be very interesting. Because I found out I was pregnant on April 10th. I'm going to insert a series of clips of like, you know, me finding out and things like that, and visuals of what I actually went through, so you can sort of see that I'm not just talking smack. That I found out on April 10th. That day was so thrilling, so exciting. That's probably why I have nothing in my camera roll for it, because there was just no issues. I was like, oh my gosh, I am pregnant. And at that point, I was not even 4 weeks. So it is April 10th, 2024, and we found out this morning that we are having a baby. I'm excited, I'm shocked, because I thought it took like 6 months to a year to get pregnant. I didn't think it was like the first month. I took a test a week before, and I was like negative. I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'm just gonna take one just to make sure. And then as I took this test, I had a look today and I was like, wait, how is that possible? It was negative like 2-3 days ago. And it's really early on, and I don't even know how the test showed it positive, but it did. He's gonna be a papa. The first time I'd sort of thought of having a baby, and it kind of happened very, very fast. I'm grateful for that, because I saw on YouTube a lot of women who struggled to get pregnant, and I think it was like a 30% chance that it happens right away or even less, and the rest are women trying for sometimes 2 years. So I thought if I want a kid, I should start now, and it might take me a year, not a day. So I was very excited when I got the positive test, and then within 5 days I was just doing my normal thing, didn't tell anyone except obviously Teo, and my family back home didn't know. And then my dog got sick, and I got very stressed, and I wasn't eating very much because I got very stressed about her getting sick. And then one day I woke up and I was like, I can't get out of bed, I can't move, this is weird. I couldn't even like lift a finger. I had gotten up and I just fallen to the floor and was like, this is weird, something's wrong, I think I have the flu, which I did. I had influenza A. I am 6 weeks pregnant today, and no one knows yet, so I'm talking to myself. The urgent care doctor was just here and told me I have, on top of the 6-week pregnancy symptoms of complete nausea and exhaustion, I have been told I have influenza A, so I can barely move, and if I don't eat every hour, I go to throw up. What a fun day. 6 weeks today, looking worse every day. This baby is eating me alive. If I don't eat every hour, I throw up. Well, every 20 minutes now. If I don't eat every 20 minutes, I'm sick. Throwing up on the floor this morning, literally I'm on the floor, like can't move, can't walk. when I tell you guys that the morning sickness is real. Well, it's not just the morning, it's literally 24/7. I think I'm going to die. I did have influenza A. I had the nurse come to the house. She gave me a drip and a doctor tested me for influenza A, which is really bad timing at that time of being pregnant because you put the baby at risk at that point when it's about to develop a heartbeat within the first 6 weeks. Going to our first ultrasound. My head.
We are going to
our first ultrasound appointment
to see a little heartbeat. Excited?
See, movement right there.
Yeah.
Flip right there. That's a heartbeat. You hear that?
That little thing already has a heartbeat.
Exactly.
And then the nurse gave me a drip with some vitamins in it. I said, that won't make me like nauseous or anything, will it? She goes, no, it's in your bloodstream, it's fine. So she left and then I got up, gave me a little bit of energy. I fell to the floor and threw up all over the floor.
You okay?
I can't do it anymore.
Honey.
And I thought that was strange. I didn't think a flu would make you do that, but it could be the flu, I'm not really sure. And then I started talking to some friends, one friend actually who I had told about the pregnancy who'd had 2 kids, and she said it could be morning sickness. And I was like, well, I hope not, because I'm gonna have this for a while. And then I started noticing that the vomiting was increasing, and to the point where I would just be peeing. I'd just go to the bathroom and I just would be throwing up. I couldn't even look at a toilet without throwing up. The influenza A started to improve in that those flu symptoms went very quick, but the vomiting progressed. And then very soon after that, I noticed I couldn't look at most foods without throwing up. So meat was out of the question, which I know a lot of women get turned off in their first trimester, meat, which was weird because I usually love meat and it was very important for the baby to have protein and things, but I couldn't keep anything down. So yes, unfortunately it wasn't the flu, it was the start of something very horrific that continued and continued, and I went down to 100 pounds. And I was already very small. I was about 112 to 114, depending on how much muscle I had at the time. So about 100 pounds. And that's when I said, I can't handle this alone anymore. I was basically having the popsicles, like the Hydrolite kind of things. I think you call them in America something else. And I was able to sometimes keep them down. I know a lot of women couldn't even keep water down. For me, I kind of pretty much could, but it was very hard to get food down. So in the mornings, if you've been through it, you know, as soon as you woke up, it was instant nausea, instant vomiting, anything that was in your stomach because you hadn't eaten overnight. So the funny thing is you throw up so much, but you also will throw up more if you don't eat, but you throw up if you eat. But then if you don't eat, it's this like, you're so sick if you don't eat. So you have to eat. It's so bad. So I'd wake up and there'd be, I know a lot of women say they wake up and they grab a cracker and they feel better and they have a cracker through the night, or crackers in the morning. Crackers would not cut it for me. Crackers would make me more sick because it wasn't enough. I had to have like toast with cheese. I could eat a lot of cheese for some reason. So I don't know if you're the same as me, but maybe cheese will help. Cheese on toast. I would try to get down anything. In Australia, we have like crumpets. They're really good. Cereal, just anything. Try keep that down. And then by mid-morning, I'd try to eat again. I was constantly eating all day, but then 90% of the time it would come back up. Along with the lethargy. So it wasn't exhaustion. I wasn't tired. I just couldn't lift an arm. I couldn't lift a finger. I couldn't lift my head. And everyone said, don't worry, it's only gonna last 12 weeks. And I was at 6. And they're like, maybe 14. And I was like, okay, I need to get back to Australia because I can't do this alone. You know, Tayo's trying to help me as much as he can, but it's just us over here in America, and he's, you know, working. And I was somehow, by the way, for the last 7.5 months, I've continued to work. I hit it for 6.5 months and no one knew. And online, I was still able to post whenever I'd have a second and I felt okay. I would quickly, I'd be like this, film something for 5 minutes and then stop filming and be able to post. Tayo helped me with a lot of my work, or I'd be reposting a lot for a very long time. So at that point, I thought I need to get back home to Australia so my mum can look after me and our family, but they didn't know why I was coming home, other than the fact it was my nephew's birthday. So I somehow got my ass from Miami to Australia, which is with the stop in LA was like 30 hours. Very, very horrific. Trying to keep myself together on the plane without causing a scene. We packed up our stuff in May. Okay, and then I got to LA on May 5th. This was the one day that I was trying to film on Hollywood Boulevard and I pushed through, but even keeping an apple down was hard. And then every day I was like, I think I'm good. And then 3 hours in, I'm just throwing up everything I've eaten that day. So we got home and we started telling our family members I was pregnant. They were very, very excited. Everyone was crying. We got to the point where we told everyone, but no one really understood what I was going through because I have a lot of people back home who have kids, a lot of family members who have children, and my sister and obviously my mum. No one had gone through HG, so I couldn't figure out why I was so sick and why I was allergic to being pregnant. Why me? There would be days I just couldn't open my eyes at all, or would try to go to the shopping mall to get something and I just would be throwing up in the middle of the mall in the rubbish can, and I was like, this can't be morning sickness.
So we're almost at 7 weeks and the nausea has cranked up.
All gonna be worth it.
So I was going to doctor after doctor who would just put me on certain medications. I was on this one that was meant to help, didn't help. Then I went on Zofran, which I don't know if it was placebo. It didn't really help. I know a lot of people may go on Zofran. Look, I was trying anything. Zofran gave me side effects, but I still stayed on them. If you've been on Zofran, you know the side effects I'm talking about. So it's not ideal, but you can try Zofran if your doctor suggests it. Apparently it's safe for the baby. I didn't want to take anything that was going to affect the baby, but I was desperate. So I did Zofran and I tried C-bands. You put C-bands on your wrist to try and stop the nausea. Oh yeah, and it was 24-hour nausea. 24-hour nausea, vomiting, can't get up, every kind of symptom you can think of.
So it's 11 a.m. and I've already done 2 throw-ups. I can't keep anything down today. I'm hoping later in the day I can because I don't want my vitals to drop. And I have my wristbands on to apparently stop nausea, but clearly it's not working because I can't keep anything down.
C-bands didn't help. I tried, what really, really helped actually, and I figured it out halfway through. There's 2 things that I'm going to suggest to you if you're going through the same thing that really helped. One was a spray, a magnesium spray, pure magnesium with, I think it had like peppermint in it, and you spray it and it just helps stop the nausea because the smell is so good. But now, if I smell it, it brings me back to that state and it makes me throw up now. But in that time, it was helpful. So that magnesium spray is one thing that can help you. It's very natural and very good. There was one other thing that extremely helped and everyone told me to do it, but I just couldn't wrap my head around getting it because I was a bit confused by the whole thing. I'll get there in a second. So we told everyone, we stayed in Australia for 3 weeks. During the worst period, I was 7 to like 10 or almost 12 weeks. I somehow planned to manage to plan a gender reveal because it was my dream to have a gender reveal with my family.
So today is May 25th. I am doing a gender reveal today, but I am so sick. I'm still in the first trimester. I'm like almost 11 weeks and I've barely been able to keep food down for like 6 weeks. I throw up all day. I'm nauseous all day and sometimes I don't have the energy to just like even move a finger, and I'm trying to keep working and post for you guys. I don't know if people like talk about how hard the first trimester is enough, or maybe just some women are like totally fine, I don't know. But my experience so far has been so horrendous and I'm praying that in the next 2 weeks I'm feeling better. If you're seeing this, it means I've gotten through.
At this rate, it could be twins. It could be a boy and a girl. The boy to the head. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, sorry. No. Hey, get up, son. No. It's
So yes, I'm having a girl. I'm having a baby girl. I'm very excited. They also say that girls can make you more sick because of the estrogen. And when I was this sick, everyone back home said you must be having a girl because that's why you're so sick as well. So I don't know, maybe if I have a boy next, I won't be this sick. We did the gender reveal and then I was still just, everyone's like, how are you pregnant? You're so skinny. I was just bone, basically. I've put on a lot of weight now. I'm the heaviest I've ever been. I'm now 125 pounds. Put on 25 pounds, which is For me, a lot, because the baby's quite big. I'm almost ready to pop. Came home back to Miami, and we'd reached the 12 to 14 weeks and I'm still sick, still vomiting, nothing's helping. Sorry if you're hearing this. I used to watch video after video of women who went through the same thing, and if they told me they were sick after 14 weeks, I was devastated.
I'm 13 weeks and it's still so hard. I'm sick all day, and it's been like over 2 months since it started, and I feel like my body is just not coping and shutting down from not enough food or water. And I don't know how my baby's surviving. I'm just so sick.
But I did feel a sense of some relief by week 15, and I'm not sure if it was the timing or because of this trick, which is I took Diclegis, Unisum and vitamin B12 mixed into one called Diclegis, which FYI, if you have insurance, they don't cover it, and the pills are like $200 if you get the Diclegis pills. So you're better off just getting the sleeping gel and the vitamin B, but I didn't know if it was working. The Diclegis for me was working, so for me, I was just buying the Diclegis because I just didn't want to risk anything else. So if you can get your hands on that or the sleeping gels, it's amazing. You take the vitamin in the morning, the sleeping gel at night. And for some reason, it's a cure for morning sickness. They don't know why, but it really helps. So I got to the doctor, and this is the other thing I wanted to touch on, is that I love doctors. They're out here to help you, but when it comes to hyperemesis, they sort of tend to wave over it.
This is the size. You measure the length from side on. Yeah, I'm getting in near a 9 actually.
So I can't eat and I can't drink. Thank God for me, I was able to sleep. Some women would throw up through the night. So again, I was grateful for that. I was sleeping very, very well. I'd be knocked out all night and not vomit through the night ever. But as soon as I woke up, I would just throw up over the bed. And my phobia used to be vomiting. So I'd tell the doctors this, like, anyway, so yeah, you can just take some Zofran, yeah, it's just how it is, And they never really got into it with me because, I don't know, they brush over it. I know some women are hospitalized from it because they lose so much weight that essentially it can be devastating for the mother or the fetus or baby, depending how far along you are, if you get that far along. But occasionally I would be able to keep a meal down. So for me, it was okay, but I had to figure out what I could eat. Sometimes I'd eat a bowl of carbonara and it would stay down, but then I couldn't eat a cracker and that wouldn't stay down. And to this day, I'm still dealing with it. We'll get there. So the doctor didn't really say much, kept me on the Diclegis, which was helping by week 15. And then I went to Europe for a baby moon at week 17 on the Diclegis. And yes, I was still throwing up, but the energy in trimester 2 does come back. And having energy, even if you're vomiting, it like changes everything. So that was amazing that I got my energy back. They do say you get it back and it's gradual, but from me not being able to move like this at all, or even talk or touch my phone, to being able to go to Europe was amazing. So there is light at the end of the tunnel, even if it's not 100% yourself. I was hoping to film this video earlier, but I have just been so unwell ever since that it's been hard for me to get around to it. I was looking at my doctor's reports one morning and it said diagnosed with hyperemesis, gravidarum, which I knew I had because I'd researched it, but my doctor never told me I had it. He said you've just pulled the unlucky straw. Anyway, so I was just trying to keep down fluids as much as I could, so I didn't have to try and keep getting drips in my arm. And then when we got to Europe, again, I guess I was throwing up if I was eating too much. Because I was in Europe, I was eating so much. But through that trip is definitely when the improvements started to happen. And my improvements have been so gradual that it's hard to know what week I got better. But I would say there was a turning point at 15, and at 2022 was a big jump. So another thing that happened was when I was in Europe, it was like a warm day. I'd had breakfast, I'd kept it down, I'd had water and everything, and I was in a boba store and I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. I feel like I'm gonna faint. I've never felt like this. And I started seeing stars and I said to Teo, oh my god, something's wrong. I think I'm gonna faint. I was on a high stool, which was silly, but I needed my drink and it was so hot. The drink hadn't come yet. The next minute I'm on the floor looking up and he's on top of me, and there's police all around me, and I'd fainted completely out cold on the floor.
I am officially 20 weeks now. I am halfway and I look kind of crazy. I've been at the beach all day. I'm in real life. I'm in Greece on a baby moon. And I finally am feeling okay. So at 20 weeks, I'm still sick, but 80% better, so I'll take it. I threw up once today because I ate too much. As soon as I eat too much, I throw up, but I'm feeling a bit better. So there's hope for you out there if you're watching this and you're dealing with hyperemesis, gravidarum. No doctor wanted to like diagnose me with it, but I definitely have it. And that's why at 20 weeks, I'm still sick and I'm like nauseous 70% of the day, but I can like hold it down. And right now is the best time of the day because I'd thrown up and now I haven't eaten and I feel great. But like in an hour, I'm gonna need to eat again. But some days I don't throw up now. I've got my diclegis, which I'm not even needing at the moment, and my energy is there. Like I'm tired and I look tired, but we're on the meds and I'll show you a belly update. So still quite small, 20 weeks, halfway, and she's given small, but she's definitely there. So we are 20 weeks. Yesterday I filmed something by the pool where I was like feeling okay, and then today it's just a bad day. You can see the look on my face. It's just been so rough. Some days are okay, some are not. I actually haven't thrown up today, but I want to. I'm holding it in every second. It constantly feels like there's food in your throat, which I don't know if it's indigestion because I've never had it, but I assume that's what it is. So I'm eating like little amounts again. I'm really dizzy. Like every time I stand up, I think I'm gonna faint, because if I haven't put it in here yet, I did faint in France about 10 days ago, actually on the floor. So now I don't know if I'm gonna faint, and I'm still in Greece, so it's scary to leave the hotel room in case I do faint. So another thing that can happen in pregnancy, which I can tell you right now, I have received every single symptom that a woman could get with pregnancy. I have had them all. I've had every single one. So I had low blood pressure, but I didn't know. When I'd woken up, we went to a pharmacy to check my blood pressure, and it was like 40/60 or something crazy, or like 37. And instead of going to hospital, I just had lots of fluid and was able to like get better that way. And again, the doctors, when I got back and told him, were like, yeah, you just didn't have enough water. That happens in trimester 2. Your blood pressure drops, so you have to have a lot of water and not go in the heat. I was like, okay, but baby was fine. And that day is when baby started kicking. 17 weeks. Very funny timing for her to start kicking. So I had the fainting 2 days after I started getting nosebleeds from the heat as well, which is a crazy symptom. And then we get back from Europe and I was like, yeah, it's time to go, because I'm starting to get Braxton Hicks contractions, and that was like, yeah, like 18, 19 weeks, which I thought was normal, but apparently it's not that early. So I continued to have them a little bit. And then I went back to my OB. Well, this is another thing earlier on that I was told I had placenta previa, which is when the placenta is what feeds the baby, is meant to be at the back or the front or the top. Mine was at the bottom, meaning that the baby can't come out when you have a placenta at the bottom because it's blocking its exit. So we kept monitoring that to see what was happening with my placenta, and it was completely flat at the bottom, meaning that you could bleed. And I went to Europe freaking out and worried because I could just bleed at any time or have contractions, which is what I was having, because it stops the exit and it just stops everything. So when I get back, we had multiple screenings. The placenta was still a previa. Weeks again went by, and then finally a few weeks ago the placenta previa had moved, which I was excited about. Then the placenta previa had gone, but I was told about a month ago that I have a short cervix, which I don't know what that was. In Australia, they don't really check for it, but they checked for it here because of the previa they were checking, that they checked the cervix, and it's short, meaning the shorter it gets, the closer you are to preterm labor. And I'm literally 30 weeks tomorrow, so it's very early to be giving birth. So 2 days ago, I checked again, and my cervix had dropped to 1.8, which is very, very, very short. And they're worried that if it drops by next week, I could be heading towards labor, which is very early, and my baby would be in the ICU for 10 weeks. But next week I'm trying to move back home to Australia to have her. So we're frantically packing the house. There's nothing really much left right now. We're trying to pack up the house to get to Australia, but next week I may be told that
I have to go to hospital and I can't go anymore. So we'll keep you updated with that one, but that's where I'm at with that and the contractions that I keep having because I have a short cervix, so my body just wants to give birth early. So yes, I've had everything. But the main thing I want to touch on in this video, as we don't know the ending to this cervix and when the baby's going to be born, we don't know the outcome yet, but with the hyperemesis, gravidarum, it is completely debilitating. It's the worst thing I've ever gone through in my entire life, and I thought I wasn't going to survive. And you know, obviously things go through your head like, can I keep going through this? I can never have another child again. What am I going to do? I know a lot of women who have it worse than me will unfortunately have to have an abortion of some sort or something, because sometimes you just actually can't survive. It's so horrible that if you lose too much weight, I mean, you're probably gonna lose the baby anyway. So I'm grateful I got through that hurdle. My baby's growing, but I am now 30 weeks and I'm still throwing up. Once a day usually, instead of 6 times a day or 4 times a day. But sometimes I throw up 2 or 3 times a day at 30 weeks. But it's different to the start. Even though I'm telling you this, you might be watching going, great, I've been throwing up the whole pregnancy. You're just not as nauseous, you're not as tired. But like if I just eat the wrong thing, or I look at the toilet bowl, or I've brushed my teeth, every time I brush my teeth, I look at the toilet bowl and it's over. But yet I'm still putting on so much weight. So I could only imagine how much I would have put on if this didn't happen. Not that I'm complaining, I would rather put on the weight and not have it. But it's gonna be healthy for the pups. But yes, I'm still very sick. And again, I haven't met anyone who's had what I've had. Another thing is really bad indigestion, which I'd never had, but every time I eat, it's just, it's here, like it's in my throat. It just won't go down. It will not go down. Another symptom I've had is bad sinus to the point where I'm just blowing my nose all day. I can't breathe through here. For some reason, I've hurt my leg, which apparently is because of the pregnancy hormones. You can lose like something to do with your ligaments, and now I'm limping. I can't walk. I've got the constant Braxton Hicks. I'm pretty much on bed rest. I hope my cervix lengthens. I can't keep food down, and if it does go down, I'll usually throw it up. Sometimes I'll still throw up water, and that's where I've been the last 7.5 months, trying to survive, trying to work, be able to get up and do things. But it is, now I'm getting bigger, I'm also getting tired again, and even in bed, I can't, if I go to turn over, I'm like a whale. Like it's hard to move, and I'm trying to move country next week and trying to keep calm with a million other things that go on in your life, you know? Life can be very stressful, especially when you're running businesses like I am. It's a lot, but I'm still very grateful and very happy. If you have any questions or you're going through something similar, please let me know. I'm sure there's a million things I haven't touched on. I just really wanted to get to the point of how bad hyperemesis can be. If there's anything you can take from it, it's the magnesium spray, the diclegis. Sleep as much as you can, get as much fluid in as you can. The popsicles are great with like the hydrolyte in them, which I'm back on right now, by the way, because I need to get as much fluid as I can in to prevent her coming out early. Just take the time to really rest. And I know it, like the time is going so slow, but I got to 7.5 months. Like that is as horrific as it has been. I am still counting the days till I'm over it though. Has not been fun. And it may look like that online, but it's not. It's really not fun. For me, my sister had the best pregnancy ever, so did my mum. So I don't know the luck of the draw. I'm scared to have another one because I've heard if you've been through what I've been through and you go for a second, it's actually worse, meaning I'd probably be hospitalized next. But I'm hoping that's not the case. That is my hyperemesis story. I hope I've included enough videos for you to see my process and how it went. And yeah, if you have a question and you're going through something similar, I will try and answer them below. There's probably things I didn't touch on, but I can make another one if there's something that you guys would really like me to talk about. And I really hope that I get through the next 10 weeks and baby comes out healthy. That's the main thing. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell for my videos that are coming along. I'm hoping I can film more now, but we don't know what's gonna happen over the next 10 weeks. I'm gonna try. So I love you guys. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.